free eliminations. No one wants to give Peterbot free eliminations. To be honest, they probably feel free when people are actually coming at you primed and ready to go. Ozzy, so you've talked about the fact that you're just going to be a bit of a walking llama for Peter today. But after the test games yesterday, where you did get an elimination on Ali A, are you feeling like actually you might be going more for the elims now, more direct?
We'll see. I don't want to say too much, but I mean, if I go the full llama route, people are going to start looking for me as the llama, so we'll change it up a bit. I don't want to keep the strategy like too one-sided, so, you know, I'll get in the mix a little bit.
And you are such a kind, lovely person. If you ask Ozzy to talk about the competition, he's just like, I don't do that. I can't talk about anyone in a bad way. But I do want to know, has Pete told you any trash talk?
Oh, I mean, we'll see. I don't want to mess up his flow state. I know Pete likes to smack talk. He likes to, you know, crash out on people a bit, so I don't want to mess him up too much. So I'm usually Mr. Positive, but it's a tournament. There's money on the line, you know. We'll see how we go.
So the answer is no. Pete hasn't taught him any smack talk. He's literally the same Ozzy antics we know and love. Peter, Ozzy, thank you so much for talking to me today, and I know you're going to put on a good show. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Yeah, I mean, so we've obviously had a couple days now with everybody here at the tournament. We've had kind of chances to catch up with Ozzy individually, Peterbot individually, and a couple times together, right? And you can definitely tell Ozzy's taking this very seriously. He's really putting in time. He's really trying to refine. And Peterbot is just being Peterbot. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to show up on the show day. Everyone's getting eliminated.
Peterbot saying that Ozzy is not as bad as he thought he was is the nicest compliment I have ever heard out of Peterbot's mouth. So that right there is a good sign.
Obviously one-sided there when it comes down to the communication, right? Ozzy a lot more invested into the questions. And yeah, like Zeke went ahead and said there, just confidence spewing out of Peterbot. Every single time he's on camera, he's just like, yeah, I'm going to win.
People are sleeping on Ozzy a little bit, though, no? I mean, when you're put up with Peterbot, it's hard to kind of make that comparison, right? The GOAT of Fortnite competitive, the GOAT of Fortnite viewing parties, but they definitely have what it takes.
You said the word GOAT there, and that got me thinking. There is a GOAT we have to highlight, and it's someone who's going to be fighting for the #1 loudest duo on the day. It's Courage JD paired up with Cold. Obviously, if you guys, again, have been watching since Duo Day, you know we had Courage on the show. He was really excited. Finally, they got some time to practice together, and, you know, Courage has been taking this extremely seriously.
Yeah, initially Cold was being a little cold to Courage JD, but once they did finally get the practice in, it definitely looks a lot better. Courage JD, you know, we were talking about Ozzy antics, putting in the work, putting in the practice. Every time I tune into Twitch, Courage JD is practicing with some kind of pro.
Yeah, and I gotta say, you know, Zeke was mentioning, oh yeah, they're gonna be competing for the loudest duo. I'm pretty sure one half of this duo is gonna be entirely carrying that loudness. I'll let you guys at home kind of decide who that's gonna be right there. But yeah, to bring up Kelly's point right there, the practice that Courage has been bringing to the table. It's not only the time that he's put it in, because obviously it's been a bunch. It's actually the quality of that practice that kind of caught my eye. Jumping into lobbies, jumping into creative with other professional players, even ones that are actually competing in the event. Like I saw they had a great session with Vano himself, right? A little bit tips and tricks there about how to fight box to box. So great job by Courage to go ahead and jump into the action.
Yeah, and also the vibes. I mean, this morning Courage was, I would say, the first one in the practice lounge, and he came, he had 3 bananas, 2 waters, 3 granola bars, and it was all for Cold. He said, my duo has got to be ready to compete today, so I think they definitely got what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a character, right? And of course, him being basically the last one out last night during the practice hours, like, I cannot wait to see Courage compete. He did have some quotes in that piece that we showed earlier. I believe he said he was going to eliminate Cypher PK,
Nick A30,
Nick A30, and then some of the pros.
Maybe,
so,
maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah. And of course, during the duo day, he was the self-proclaimed 2025 MCS Pro-Am champion. So we'll see how that goes today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of possibility, Takada. I do think that Courage JD may have made a few enemies, though.
Definitely made quite a few enemies. You can even think, I'm gonna take you back, okay? 2018, the Fortnite Pro-Am. Courage actually got 2nd place. And, you know, Cypher was talking about it. He competed back in the day. Also, Ali A, who got 5th. And Courage is like, you know what? As long as I place higher than Ali A, I'll be happy with that.
That was a long time ago, Tokata. That was a long time ago. But, you know, look, this duo is perfect for each other, right? Like, obviously, the quiet nature of Cole, who's going to be kind of slipping in and out of builds, eliminating players. Courage being a loud voice to distract people. I mean, you know, why don't we just hear what they have to say?
What do you think about the practice? 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 What do you think about the pr The best content creator at the Fortnite Pro-Am?
I got my player. I know my player.
Go ahead. Who is it?
Cypher PK.
If that's not an indication we've been having a lot of fun this weekend, I don't know what is. Very excited to see how these guys compete. You know, obviously, Cold is Cold. So, you know, we kind of have touched a lot on Courage and how much work he's been putting in, but Cold is a very difficult individual to stop once he gets going.
I mean, Major 2 reigning champ. He every time we see these like stats of who has the most damage, it's between him and Peterbon who's fighting for first. Absolutely an incredible fragger. Definitely a threat to the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, an incredible performance in Major 2 from Cold. Best damage ratio over the course of 12 games against other professional players was seriously a feat. Obviously, that's the crazy thing, right? When we think about, you know, how well they play in Majors, it's always against other professional players. Throw in content creators in the mix, you're one of the best fraggers in the game. Being Cold, woo, it's gonna be scary.
Hey, 3-time FNCS champ. I mean, look, they're joking around, they're having fun, but I think when that first game starts, they're going to be locked in. They're going to be focused, and they're going to do a great job.
I'm curious to see where they're at right now. Frankie is standing by with the duo. Let's get their thoughts on the Pro-Am.
Well, Cold was 14 years old when he won his first FNCS Major Finals. Courage is 31, and he's hoping he's going to get his first title today. And you brought the bananas. What's this all about?
Yeah, it's important to have fruits, keep your blood sugar high. I'm going to have 2 bananas per game, which will equate to 12 bananas by the end of this. And I think if I get 1 elimination per banana, we'll be in a good spot.
Who are you going to eliminate, though? Who's the easiest?
I mean, how long do we got? Cypher PK, we were fighting earlier, easy eliminations. Peterbot hasn't even warmed up, not worried about him anymore. Typical gamer might almost be 50, so his reaction time isn't cutting it. And I got Cold as a duo, so what am I worried about?
You do have Cold as a duo. The weird thing is, I would have thought it'd be him with the back injury after the test games we played yesterday because he was carrying you quite a lot. Cold, how are you feeling about your partner? He's been grinding more than anyone in this entire building.
He has. I can tell he really wants it, and like he wants to do well in this, so I'm going to do my best to give him what he wants.
How long have you been able to practice as a duo? Because, I mean, you had the Major 2 finals not that long ago.
To practice for this?
Yeah.
Not much practice coming from me, to be honest, but I got courage for that, so.
Well, you did have a little bit of trouble. You're dropping south of booming base, and unfortunately for you guys, malheureusement, the French are going there too. What's the tactic for dealing with them today? Because they gave you a lot of trouble yesterday.
There is going to be no dealing with them. We're just going to let them do their thing. We're going to do our thing, and we'll see how it goes.
Are you going to do what I call the Mongol strat? Are you going to hide in a bush until the danger's gone?
Of course not.
This man doesn't hide in no bush. Courage, do you think that you've put quite a lot of pressure on yourself with this event? Because obviously you've been grinding, but back at the 2018 Celebrity Pro-Am, you did lose to Ninja. He put you in second place. You say you gave it to him, but I'm not so sure.
Look, Ninja needed to complete his story arc at the first Pro-Am. I love my boy Tyler, but he had to get that win. This time, though, I'm coming for first place only. And if we win first place, I told Cold I'm giving him all my prize money, so.
All the prize money, I mean, 50 grand? It's not pocket change to me, but maybe to this mad. But you could buy an awful lot of bananas with that, Cold. Let's head back to the desk.
Well,
I think they broke Zeke.
I'm fine. Everything is fine. Everything is great. Always a big fan of Courage, JD. A true OG in this scene, and of course, I love seeing him paired up with Cold. They both seem in very high spirits, which
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. That means at whatever happens, we're going to be hearing Courage JD on that stage.
Oh, 100%. I think that for this duo especially, that they are just here for the vibes. But I think that throughout those vibes, they also just might get a few wins as well.
yeah, I mean, the approach to this tournament is just completely different. I love how Cold's answer to, oh, you know, how much practice have you guys kind of been putting into the tournament? He's like, oh, well, me? Really not much. But that's what I got Courage for, as if, like, Courage has put in so much practice that it's, like, taking up how much Cold's supposed to practice. Like, Courage has practiced so much for the both of them.
Look, all I know is no other player is going to have more than 12 bananas. Will that actually help Courage? I don't think so, but hey, you know, it's the spirit that counts.
Okay, all right. Now, the spirit of what I would like to see today is someone win their first LAN title. Thomas HD. Paired up with Somerset, which is kind of a terrifying duo. And guys, I will go ahead and admit something to you now. When Duo Day happened, obviously we were seeing the duos announced come together, and I kept, I was going one by one. I saw Thomas HD and Somerset, and I thought, oh, that's really cool, and I kind of moved on. Then I had to kind of stop myself and take a kind of step back and wait. Oh, hold on, Zeke. Did you read that right? Thomas HD and Somerset?
Yeah, leading up into this event, a lot of people make their prediction list, top 3, top 5, and this duo is in pretty much every single person's top 5 list. And there's obvious reasons why. I mean, Thomas HD is the best player in Fortnite to never win an FNCS title. I don't even know how many second places he's won. And then, of course, you have Somerset, winner of multiple votes, as well as getting 3rd place at the most recent Milk Cup LAN. I mean, they are incredible competitors, and having that competitive mindset is definitely going to set themselves up for success.
Yeah, this duo has put us in a little bit of a gray area, right? We're supposed to have a professional player on one side, content creator on the other side. Obviously, Somerset, great content creator, but she is just so invested in the Fortnite competitive. I think nobody would bat an eye to call her a professional player in all regards. Like, you saw 14,000 hours streamed, all of that being invested into Fortnite competitive in some way, shape, or form. And not to mention, right, Fortnite is an esport that continuously gets harder, right? Throughout your career, it's just harder to kind of come into it. Everybody's getting better. Somerset is also just getting better, right? Earlier this year, making it into FNCS East, which was a feat for her. So she's constantly getting better, paired up with Thomas HD. Scary duo.
They're going to be lethal. I mean, not only making it to Heat's 3rd place in the Milk Cup, Thomas HD, on the other hand, 4 times he's placed 2nd place in FNCS Grand Finals, one of those being the Global Championship. Now, we did talk with Thomas, talked with Somerset. We said, if you win today, do you think it's going to count as your first FNCS win? Now, Thomas said no, but Somerset, on the other hand, had another idea.
Yes. She said yes. And look, we agree. It still has FNCS before the Pro-Am. So if you win, Thomas, it does count. Why don't we go on over to Frankie, who's standing by. Frankie, ask him if it counts.
Hello, I have got a very terrifying duo next to me. They might look sweet and innocent, but these two are going to have an absolute party when we hit Slurp Rush later. Thomas, when you first played Reload and this map, you must have been so excited because all of those weapons, have you got your name practically written on them?
Yeah, I do. Like, I like using the mammoth pistol, for example, and the sniper. So, yeah, I like the weapons.
It's kind of terrifying watching the two of these guys play. What was your reaction to getting Thomas?
Oh, I was astonished. I was very excited. I mean, he's literally the sniper king in absolutely everything. So to hear that, it was, I knew we would definitely be able to get some, eliminations out of the air for sure.
You're known for your disgusting aim with the sniper as well. Tell me, how on earth are you deciding who's doing what in game? Because you've got a very similar, powerful skill set.
I think it's pretty apparent that he's very good with the super long range. I'm kind of here to just support and follow up on whatever he absolutely needs just to get us through to the end game.
Now, you haven't had much of a chance to practice together because you've been separated by the Atlantic Ocean. But from watching you guys perform yesterday in our test games, it feels like there's a very natural chemistry. Is that right? Has it come quite naturally to you two as a duo?
Yeah, I would say it does. I mean, I feel like we bounce off of each other pretty well, aside from me jumping in front of crash pads. But I'm learning as we go.
There have been a few accidents we have seen with the mobility items so far here at the Galen Centre in the past couple of days, so don't worry about that one. You're not alone, Somerset. Thomas, tell me about the off-spawn situation. You are dropping south of Steamy Stacks, but there's a lot of very good duos landing either side of you. So what's the idea here? Are you going to stick around and try and get some elims?
We might be contested, but I'm not sure. I think Seti and Dea was going to land on us, but yeah. We will see. We'll just claim the split we have there, and yeah, we'll just try to make it to endgame.
Well, all I know is it's going to be very, very entertaining watching the two of you. Thank you so much for talking to me, and good luck. Let's head back to the desk.
Thomas HD said a word there, a phrase, called out a weapon specifically that kind of just got me excited. Mammoth pistol. Mammoth pistol being in Reload. You throw one of those in the hands of Thomas HD, he's going to start hitting headshots.
Oh, he's definitely going to start hitting headshots, right? We're talking about the Pro-Am right now. I remember when the Mammoth Pistol was in FNCS competitive, right? When we were having one of those majors, then it was like, wait a minute, we're running highlight reels of the game, and they're all of Thomas with a Mammoth Pistol. This isn't a Thomas highlight, it's just of the game, and it's just all of Thomas. He is just so good with weapons like that.
Look, they're definitely going to do a great job, but some duos are uncontested and some aren't. One of them that is contesting each other at the northwest side of the map is going to be Clix and Lacey against Venno and Reddish. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, Z.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like on one side, old friends, old duel mates split up and now having to go head to head. On one side, you've got Reddish, who again, kind of teetering on that like gray area of content creator pro. And then you've got Lacey, who is like basically an old time pro. And he still says he is. Does that count? I don't know, but this is an exciting head to head.
I feel like a few people would put asterisks onto that FNCS Pro, Clix being one of them. But yeah, Clix and Venno, like you were saying, old teammates, old roommates. They literally played the last FNCS Global Championships together. Obviously, they did split up this year, Venno going back to Europe, but having them go face to face, I don't know if there's going to be too much fighting, Vivid.
Yeah, I'm happy you kind of hit home on that, right? I think they're both going to be happy with taking the loot that they get from Steamy Stacks. A pretty big POI for the both of those duos. I want to focus in on Clix and Lacey as a duo. Obviously, in Fortnite competitive, you know, it's very, very important to go ahead and farm your mats up. My only question with this duo, though, are they going to be able to take a break from farming those engagements to go ahead and get a couple of materials? Right? Are they going to have too much fun with the event, or are they actually going to try to win?
Definitely going to be farming clips. Mats, on the other hand, that's the issue. If we think about how both of these duos play, Clix and Lacey, I was watching some streams. Lacey's like, I'm the IGL. I'm the pro. Clix like, what do you mean? No, I'm the pro. I'm the IGL. Lacey's like, no. So they're kind of going back and forth, but I do think they will lock in when the time comes. Now, on the other hand, Venno and Reddish, they are locked in. One of the first in the practice room. Venno's going to be IGLing. They definitely have what it takes.
I'm excited to hear from this next interview. Frankie sending my way both duos. Let's go on over.
Thank you so much. And this is an interesting LAN reunion because the last time these guys were playing in person, it was at the Global Championships in 2024. And you were playing together. You placed 11th. And now you're broken up. Do you prefer it this way, Venno?
I don't miss them. I can't win championships with them. Okay.
Excuse me. This man bought you a watch.
Bought him a watch, and by the way, he was the reason we didn't win FNCS. I don't know if you've seen when we got 4th place. We were 1st place 9 games in. The last 3 games, he didn't listen to our coach. Did a dead side rotate, wrong rotate. Pew pew. We're done. We're literally eliminated.
And so you sent him packing back to the UK.
Yeah, I sent him back to home.
Well, thank you so much. Let's talk about the competition that's going to happen because Venno, you have a new teammate in Reddish. And she can frag very reliably. We saw you guys performing really well in the practice sessions here yesterday. Reddish, tell me how this teamwork is working.
I wouldn't say necessarily a fragger, more of a support player. This guy killed Peter Bullet in a couple of games yesterday. I think we're ready, and I'm there to support him.
We know that you've also won a LAN. There was a LAN at the end of last year in London that you picked up the W4. So have you taught Venno anything?
If there's ever a zero build tournament, he knows to pick me up. That was a zero build cup, so.
But you've been practicing those builds, I know. And Lacey, have you been practicing those builds? Because I've heard you jump back into the game. It's like riding a bike, but is it really?
It is. It's like riding a bike for me. You know, I was born with the talent. It's not really a skill I learned. I was born with it. But I've been VOD reviewing all last night. I was locked in, looking at the VOD, studying film, making sure that we're ready and strategize for today.
And he is a former pro player, Click, so surely he's going to be leading you in game.
Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, a former pro player. How much earnings do you have?
$5,000.
5,000. I mean, you know, I have almost like, what, 700? She has how? You have 40,000?
I got like 40K.
So I want to say, why's your voice so raspy, Lacey?
You said what?
So raspy.
My voice raspy because last night we were VOD reviewing and I was screaming the comms. We were practicing comms last night.
Yeah. Chocolate night. He was doing all that.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about the showdown at Steamy Stacks, but you guys have been talking at each other so long, we're just going to see what happens in the game. Let's head back to the desk.
See, it's weird because they said they were VOD reviewing. Now, Lacey was definitely having a lot of fun. I don't think it was in Fortnite, though. Can confirm. Will that turn out well today? Will it not? I mean, he was looking awake, looking happy. I think they can do it.
You know, listen, when the lights come on, the cameras turn on, this is still Lacey, right? This is still Clix. This is all for show. This is the character they're letting out, but then the time comes, they're going to win it all. That's my prediction. Anyway, let's move on to the next off-spawn situation happening. We're seeing And I actually want to come back to you for this, Tokata. We have Zemi and Cooper going up against Gone and Flakes. You've been super tapped into the Spanish community, so kind of give us the rundown of what you're seeing.
Yeah, this is interesting because when you think of Cooper and Zemi, you look at a majority of the predictions that have been made for the Pro-Am, and Cooper Zemi, their top three are just set at winning the whole event.
Yeah.
Now, Gone and Flakes, I think, went under the radar a little bit. Flakes actually just qualified to the major finals on Brazil. They are the duo representing Brazil here today, and he's put alongside a pro. I mean, I was talking to Gorilon, who's actually here doing a viewing party in Spanish. Shout out Gorilon, and he was saying this duo is going to play aggressive. Unlike you got Stevie Stacks, kind of an uncontested, both good in their own loot, but there's also been a surprise contestation on this side of the map.
A lot of contestation going on over there. And I was actually talking to Cooper specifically yesterday. And I was like, yo, what's up, Cooper? How you doing, man? How you feeling? He was like, I'm feeling confident right now. And he wasn't talking about his own play. He was pointing over at something. He was like, dude, this guy, he's better than me in most of the end games that we just played through. All the cups, all the practice we're getting in. Sometimes he's dropping more eliminations than I am. So the confidence kind of going into this competition, very, very high for the duo.
Yeah, and Cooper, you know, going all the way back to the 2023 Global Championships, a lot of people, for whatever reason, discredited that win. A lot of people saying that the 6 games there, you know, that was the easiest win for the FNCS. And then he has come back time and time again, making it to the grand finals, making it to the top 5 to say, it wasn't a fluke, I deserve this win, and he's here to come back once again for another FNCS title.
I love it. I love it. And I love that you pointed out as well as Zemi, because I heard that same thing, right? And when we're talking with Zemi, it's like, you know, what do you think? What would lead to success? Another person to say the Mammoth pistol, and at that point, yeah. I kind of heard Cypher became under, you know, quietly say, yeah, don't let him get that, don't let him get that. So I'm excited to see, man. I do agree. Could this be the duo that wins it all?
100%. Both of them are incredibly strong competitors. Cooper is incredibly intelligent, but also has a great fragging ability as well. So the two of them together, I think, has a lot of potential. They are going to be contested, potentially triple contested by Faxity, but who knows if you can trust what Faxity says where he's going to be landing, Vivid.
Yeah, it'll be crazy to see if they actually do end up fighting on this one. But again, you know, Cooper's Zemi entering that rare, both of them kind of pros in their own regards.
Okay, you know what time it is. We've got an interview lined up with both the duos once again.
Yes, I'm so excited to have Cooper and Zemi and Flakes and Gone. We'll come to the Brazilian guys first, because yesterday I was having a chat with you and you were like, we're partners, we're brothers. And it feels like this competition might have even brought you closer together.
Yes, I love to play with Gone. And here we have more synergy. And I want to see this again in Brazil, man. In our competition in Brazil.
We're a lot of we're friends. Like we talk like a year. We're talking like for a year. We play a lot of tournaments together before the Pro-Am. We play a lot of duo. I don't think we play trios, but we play duo together, trying to call for Cash Cup duos. And
maybe you can join my trio, man.
We have chemistry.
Bye, Swetan. I will put Gone on my team.
Bye, Su. Bye, Jonas.
Well, they have been rivals in the recent major finals because you actually made the major finals. But Flakes, you've been telling me that you're more of a support player.
Yes, I qualified to grand finals in Brazil, but I am like a support player, yes. I take heals for my team, mats, like a walking llama, and I help them to perform well.
Well, let's head over to your rivals at Dirty Dogs, because you guys are going to be having off-spawn battles today. Zemi, you've been grinding the game, it turns out. 260 hours in Chapter 6, more than Flakes. That makes me feel like you're very, very keen to take this home for you.
That's what I'm here for. I mean, as soon as I found out Cooper is my teammate, we started practicing every single day pretty much. Every single tournament there's been upcoming to this tournament, we've played it. We're very confident, and I couldn't ask for a better teammate. Cooper is incredible at the game, and he's also down to put in the hours in practice, and it's been good so far.
You are playing with the global champion. Cooper, come here. Let me know what's it been like training with Zemi. How does he compare with the likes of your former teammates?
It's been really good. I think he picks up things really quickly as he competes at a high level with zero builds. So it's been a lot easier to adapt to, and overall he's been a great teammate, and I'm stoked for today.
Why? This has been a little bit too nice, okay? We need to turn up the heat, and we need to find out who is going to be the dons of the Dirty Docs today. So, Zemi, why are you taking it today?
Listen, we're gonna take it because again, I think we have slightly more practice than you guys. You guys are a great team, but we've had more practice, man, and I think it just comes down to the preparation. Best of luck, though.
So he's had the practice, but you guys, what have you got?
Bro, chemistry, yes, we play for a lot of time together, Gone.
We have the desenrolo.
Yes, the desenrolo from Brazil, the Brazilian desenrolo. They understand after the tournament.
So it's the kings of Desi and Hollow versus the guys who put the work in. Who is going to reign supreme at the dirty dots? Maybe the devs can give us an idea.
I love that Frankie's like, all right, guys, fighting words. And Zemi's like, yeah, we're gonna win. Everything's cool, everything's nice. Good luck. We're gonna win though. And it's like, Zemi, give me something, give me more, man. I love Zemi though. Obviously, we are very excited to see both, and not only just these two duos go ahead, but everyone compete. So let's do something fun. Let's talk about predictions. Who could walk away winning it all? We've put our heads together. We made some predictions, and here is a little look here. Who wants to go ahead and start?
Well, first of all, he says we put our heads together. We didn't. We all kept the secrets from each other because we're very competitive in our own right. And as you can see, Takata and I, we have the same choice. The French gentle mates of Nikop and Podesai. If you guys watch the practice games like we did yesterday, they would be your choice as well.
Look, I don't want to leak anything too early, but when the Pro-Am was announced, I think they went under the radar a little bit. They went in those top 5, top 3 predictions, and then we got here. We were seeing how much practice they were putting in, how well both of these players were performing, and everyone was like, wait, hold on a second. What's going on here? This duo is looking insane, and I do think that they have what it takes to come out on top today.
And we joke about Lacey and Stable Ronaldo being these ex-FNCS pros. I mean, Podesai Nikop has been playing since the World Cup. He has been a competitor for a long time. And although he may have not been competing for the last few years, understanding what takes priority in a competitive mindset is so valuable.
I can't lie, that duo kind of made me bat an eye, but me and my boy Jacob PR sticking to our NAC roots. We know who dominates over there in the majors. It's going to be Peterbot paired up with Aussie Antics. You want to know something, Takata? This actually surprised me because earlier on you were like, oh my gosh, it's 1 point per elimination, only 10 points for the victory royale. Obviously very, very heavy when it comes down to the elimination-based format, right? Peterbot has had the most eliminations over the past 5 FNCSs on his region, and he has only been beaten actually globally 1 time, and that was by Vico. Constantly gets the most eliminations. We're in an elimination-based format. I've got Peterbot.
Now hold on. Here's the problem though, Vivid, because Peterbot is Peterbot, but as we saw in the practice games yesterday, if he goes down, there's a lot of duos close by, like Monger, who says, oh, I happen to have a mammoth. You're still in the air. That's a free point for me.
I got something for you, Zeke. It don't matter. It's Pete.
Hey, he got me. But my prediction is Clicks and Lacey because it's Clicks and Lacey. They are gonna win. Now, of course, I know what you guys want. You guys want to meet some of these players. You want to see these duos in person. So why don't we go ahead and bring out the first 4.
Make some noise for Zemi and Cooper. 2 titans from competitive and content are here to duke it out and reload, looking to take that top spot.
Let's hear it for Reddish and Benno. Friendly faces, but not so friendly in game, and with an unmatched competitive drive, they're ready to take it home.
It's Big Varsity and Reason. Even though these guys are our last-minute duo, they will not disappoint today, mixing great content with brute force.
You gotta get loud for Kanata and Stable Ronaldo. This energetic powerhouse is ready to get the party started.
That was just the first 4, and we are already going absolutely crazy. I am so excited to see Faxity and Reason play. Faxity being the last-minute sub in there. Just so excited to see him compete on this stage. He's been running around, he's been talking to people, giving insights, trying to learn and grow. And I feel like he's so focused right now. You pair him up with someone like Reason?
Yeah, no, I mean, Big Pack City, a lot of people look to him as, viewing party, a little bit of content, very close with a lot of the players, but he is also pretty dang good at Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his content actually revolves around being involved, being in calls with other pro players, so he's constantly in those conversations, right? Not to mention also doing all of those zone wars. Shout out to Faxity, right? Such a big career. He's got a lot of momentum going on in the content creation. You saw him throw up the X, wreck the set, recently joined X set.
Oh yeah, I love supporting my fellow NA West players. You mentioned the Zone Wars, also very good friends with Reason. The synergy is gonna be at an all-time high with this duo.
Yeah, you talk about synergy. I like the word chemistry. Canada, Stable, Ronaldo. This is the other duo that's competing for the loudest duo.
They're not
at the
competing.
Pro-Am.
No, they win. They already won. I think through the player lounge we've seen that they have already won that. I mean, honestly, when this duo was announced, I was very excited, but also a little scared. Not for the rest of the competition, but for the audience members. It is going to get very loud from this duo.
It's been mentioned already that coming back to the game, we were talking to Lazy, it's just like riding a bike. I think the person who jumped back on that bike the best has actually been Ronaldo. His mechs look very, very clean.
Oh my gosh, look, I'm getting word. I would love to keep talking about these duos, but we got next 4 to meet. Bring them in.
It's Cypher and Moxie! The LA takeover has begun, and they're not looking to go home empty-handed. Show us what you got.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monroe and Ollier. British finest, some might say, with tons of experience in the bag. They're ready to put others in the bin.
Viva la France, speak up, and Podicide! The Gentlemates have entered the stage, and you know that trophy would look oh so good in their office.
Let's hear it from Courage, JD, and Pro. Pretty bold to announce yourself as the champion already, but we respect it. Let's see you back up that statement.
Oh man, and a quick shout out there to our friends over at Make-A-Wish. We had some very special friends come out and kind of get to feel the crowd, feel the vibe in those few moments. We wanted to highlight here Nikoff and Podicide. I mean, guys, this is the duo that pretty unanimously everyone seems to believe these are the guys. These are the ones that are going to win it all.
I mean, yeah, we already briefly talked about them just a few minutes ago. Absolutely incredible competitors. You know, ex-FNCS Pro joined by a current FNCS Pro is quite the dynamic duo.
Yeah, I mean, always being involved in the viewing parties. Knows what's going on with Fortnite competitive, staying in tune, grinding in the shadows, paired up with Bodasai and Nikov. They're looking scary.
We do have the Global Championships in France later this year, so you know, maybe they want to give us a little sneak peek of what we might see.
All right, all right. We also had a chance there. You heard the crowd go crazy. Cypher, PK, and Moxie coming together. I mean, I feel like the stadium, they've chosen their winners.
Oh yeah, I mean, landing over in East Slurpee Swamp right there, they have a great position, but also Cypher PK, even though he is a content creator, he is an incredible competitor. And then of course Moxie, winner of the Milk Cup, one of the best female Fortnite pros in the world.
Yeah, a lot of potential here for this duo. Talked to Cypher, he was like, yeah, I love my duo. We got the same game plan. We're jumping in, feeling confident.
I love it. And again, shout outs to Make-A-Wish. Luca, Tyler, thanks for hanging out. But it's time. Let's meet our next 4.
Give it up for Lachlan and Mr. Savage. The boys are ready to hit the ground running and combine maximum content with pure skill. It's showtime.
Everybody say hello to Rex and Nate Hill. They've got LAN events, they've got experience, and they're making for some fierce competition.
Make some noise for Captain Shora and Koyota, all the way from Japan. These guys are here to make their mark on the international stage with a big win.
Next up, it's Booga and Typical Gamer, a World Cup title paired up with world-class content. This is the perfect recipe for success.
Whoa, TG, my fault, OG. I did not know you were absolutely yoked. Oh my gosh. Once again, the crowd have chosen their favorites. It's Typical Gamer, it's Booga. You can hear the crowd is electric right now. Man, what more can we say about these two OGs of the Fortnite scene?
Look, I almost got shaken off the stage. A typical gamer walked out. I literally almost fell off with how excited the crowd got. But that's at no surprise when you pair up the most followed creator in the Fortnite space alongside the World Cup Solos winner. It's what to expect.
You know, the Reload game mode throws a bunch of old items, old weapons that we've seen in Fortnite competitive before. And if any's going to be good adapting to any sort of meta, any of those items, it's going to be Booga, the guy with the most experience.
And I mean, you look at typical gamer, he was competing in NA West FNCS, and he was able to make it through the qualifier. He is also in one of those gray areas, like you like to say, Pivot.
Okay, what about Shota, Koyota coming in from Japan, man? I mean, listen, they've got the rock, paper, scissors on lock. The question is, who's throwing paper?
Look, I'm gonna ask you a question, Zeke. I was actually taking a peek in the player lounge. Koyota was 1v1ing Peterbotting Creative. What do you think won?
It's gotta be Pete, man.
Koyota actually won 5-3 in 1v1's Creative against Peterbot. So he's got the mechanical skill on deck. Also has some little surprises that we've seen in terms of game strategies, so I think they have what it takes.
That's the thing with Pro. Every single time that he shows up to one of these international events, whether it be globals, whether it be a Pro-Am, everybody is always quickly reminded he is just so good, especially when it comes to mechanics.
I mean, there's a reason they call him Asia's Peterbot, man. He is such a phenomenal player, and like you said, super innovative. I remember back when they had jetpacks in the game, he was literally eliminating people in the air. I'd love to see it again.
Woo! Let's hope there's jetpacks in Reload, but for now, let's meet our next four duos.
Their names are Alex and Loser Fruit, but there's no losers in sight. It's time to represent Power and Oceania.
Give it up for Daya and Seti, both land winners with a bunch of experience, ready to give it their all in the FNCS Pro-Am tonight. Good luck.
Locked and loaded, Thomas and Somerset. This lobby better watch. Yeah. Because with these two around, first is the only thing on their mind.
It's Aussie Antics and Peterbot. We're in for some action with these guys today. Can they live up to the expectations from the community? Time to find out.
I mean, I'm feeling it. This is insane. We still have one more group left to go, but let's talk about Daya and Seti. I mean, Seti's an invitational champion, a legend in the EU scene. You pair him up with Daya, who just recently won the Milk Cup LAN. I mean, you know, Viv, this is looking like a really strong duo.
You mentioned it, right? Both of them have that LAN experience, not only LAN experience, LAN winning experience. I mean, I swear this duo should be good on paper. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually fulfill all of the hype coming into the weekend.
Yeah, when you think of EU competitive and a new season starts, the pros, the players, the duo, the players that they look at first is Cammy and Seti. They're always ahead of the game in terms of meta, in terms of how to play this season out. So I would not be surprised if they're also going to be ahead of the meta going into today.
They are going to be contested at Logjam by Thomas and Somerset, but honestly, if there is a duo that could probably come up with a strategy real quick with how to deal with that duo, it is going to be Daya and Seti. But we got to talk about our OCE players.
That's right, Alex. We got paired up with Loser Fruit. I mean, in yesterday's practice games, guys, Alex was going crazy. Thankfully, they had Callum come out with them. Man, these guys are looking really, really strong.
Yeah, when we were watching the games, there I am seeing a player with like 8 eliminations. I'm like, oh, of course, Peterbot's going crazy. Oh, wait, no, that's Alex. Alex is eliminated.
Instances where we're reminded by one of these international players kind of joining us here on the stage, and they are just so good mechanically. I was talking to Alex just before we started. He was like, yo, Vivid, like, hype me up. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I don't need to. You were dropping crazy elimination yesterday. Just do that again. Everybody will be hyped for you.
100%. Four-time FNCS champ on OCE. You were mentioning Kelly. He had the highest amount of eliminations in any of the practice.
From Loser Fruit as well. had a very deep conversation. Said, Loser Crew, what do you want out of the weekend? And she said, I want one thing. One elimination onto Lachlan. That's it. With that being said, one final wave of duo.
Get loud for Queasy and Nick F30. These guys will never back down and look to have an amazing day. I can guarantee to see them on high ground.
Flakes and God have entered the building, everybody! Things are really heating up and Brazil is coming in hot for today's competition.
Post of Lauren, Jacob and Cammy, bringing the pride of Poland all the way to Los Angeles. Let's see if this duo can live up to the pressure of the competition.
It's your Captain Kings, Quicks and Lacey! They're already first in everyone's hearts, but now it's time to place first on the big stage.
The hype is real. The players are now taking the stage. Quiet, under the radar. And now you're telling me, Tokata, we have SETI already doing that. And now on the other end of Slurp Rush, we have Cammy and Jacob doing the same thing?
That's the interesting part, right? They are literally on the complete opposite side of the map. Now it's a full Polish duo, and when we think of strategy, we think of meta. I know they have something hidden up their sleeves. I always see them practicing. They are always locked in, and I'm excited to see kind of what that secret's gonna be.
A couple of our duos competing today. Obviously, they're flying under the radar. It's no surprise that Cammy and Jacob are one of those duos, but I think they're comfortable being like that, right? Cammy and SETI kind of like to do that when they're playing those FNCS majors, and no surprise, we're not really hearing a lot about this duo right now.
You're talking about teams flying under the radar. A team not flying under the radar is Nick A30 and Queasy. I mean, what a combo. You can already hear the cheering again. Nick A30. For Fortnite, joined by Queasy, one of
about Nick 30 is before Fortnite. Sure. So now paired up with the resources needed.
See Queasy, one of the goats when it comes to the
Akai